Will Barry Bonds ever be a Hall of Famer? The all-time leader in home runs, one of the greatest left-handed hitters of all time. Some would say the best left-handed hitter of all time. The guy would get intentionally walked with bases loaded because they feared he'd hit a home run and hit a grand slam. But will he be allowed in the Hall of Fame one day? In Cooperstown. Cooperstown is the most tedious and it's a very, very hard Hall of Fame to get into. Very hard. You have to be well accomplished and you have to be clean. And unfortunately for Barry, he's only one of those things. He was not clean. Everyone knows what he did. But because of the career that he set forth for himself and how great he was for all those years, and again, all-time leader in home runs, how can you quantify the all-time leader in home runs not being in your Hall of Fame? You know what I mean? It's just too big of an accomplishment to leave out. But because Cooperstown is so stubborn and they are so difficult to work with in terms of Hall of Fames, it's tough. It really is tough. In my opinion, he should. Obviously, I think most people agree he should be in the Hall of Fame. But will he ever be? I want to say yes. I want to say eventually they're going to lift it and they're going to let him be in. Despite what he did, his career was too great to leave out of the picture. You know what I mean? Like, I know guys in that era of Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire and, Jose Canseco. All those guys were on something. We all know that. And so was Barry. But, you know what I mean? Like, people look back at those days and they think fondly of it. Like, they remember Barry Bonds and, like, the legendary, home runs he would have that would go into the water. The amazing moments that he had and just how legendary he was. And even breaking Hank Aaron's home run record. That moment was amazing to see, especially because Hank was alive still, I believe, when it happened. But just leaving somebody out they're so enshrined in baseball and the lineage and the history of baseball, and I know it's because, obviously, of what he did. But at some point, I don't know. And I know leaving out Pete Rose was massive, but his was a totally different issue. But he's the all-time hits leader. And Barry's the all-time home run leader. I imagine if they lift one, they got to lift the other. Or maybe not. Maybe they lift one and say screw the other. I really don't know how they're going to do it. But at some point in time, I think Barry Bonds has to be in the Hall of Fame. I think he has to be. I think it's not like Joe Schmo that, was solid and then got caught doing what he did and then is now disqualified. This is one of the best hitters ever. The all-time home run leader. The Barry Bonds. There's only one. And he's not allowed in the Hall of Fame. So, do I think he'll get in one day? Yes, I think they'll eventually lift it. Will it be anytime soon? Probably not. Does he deserve it? Absolutely. He had a phenomenal career. No matter what he was taking, to be able to, see the ball that was coming and just crack it out every single time it feels like. And again, the most impressive thing about it was that this dude would get walked with bases loaded to prohibit a grand slam. That's how feared he was. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Eventually he'll get in, I think, and I hope it's sometime soon, but you never know with Cooperstown. You really never know. Those guys are just very, very tedious. And then, to their credit, they should be because they want to keep the game as clean as possible. But with a guy's name that big, man, it's hard to keep out. So, should he be in the Hall of Fame? Yes. Will he be? Hopefully.